Let's make it a good day.
Today on The Jason Show, paging Dawson, Pacey, and Joey. One of the biggest shows of the late 90s could be ready for a reboot. Plus, the final two. Bachelor Matt makes his picks after the fantasy suites. Find out if our girl Michelle from Minnesota made it through. And handmade right here in the Twin Cities. Get to know the woman behind Dottir Jewelry, putting a Scandinavian twist on beautiful earrings, necklaces, and more.
Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
I love that it hits at just that right moment. I'm not going to sing it because I don't want to break anyone's eardrums this morning. We don't do that at the Jason Show. We bring happiness. I'm Shane Wells. Get to hang in for Jason this week, and with my good friend Kendall.
Yeah,
who's always
here.
here.
Have you? I like it. I like having Kendall week, especially with International Women's Day yesterday. It kind of made sense.
It really fits.
It did. It did. Well, you guys, welcome to the show, the Jason Show. Obviously, we're in. We told you this last time. We're in all week.
Yeah.
We're really excited about it. But I have something to tell you, Shane.
Oh boy.
And I feel like everyone watching knows this person, has had this experience, and gets it, okay? So just follow along here.
Okay.
There are people who are habitual talkers. They always put themselves on speaker no matter where they go. They're in Target, they're Nordstrom Rack, girl, they're like at the Home Depot, and they're like, yeah, so I have this ulcer, and blah, blah. And you're just like,
Right.
excuse me. Right, okay? Then there are the people who are the habitual bathroom talkers. They get on their phone in a public restroom and they just don't care. Weird, right? Like, we all know and have been in these situations, yes?
I just start to imagine what's all going on. It's just not, it's so odd. Does that person even know the person's in the bathroom that's talking? So this is exactly what happened to you?
Yes, so I go to the chiropractor, get adjusted. I'm like, oh, it's about a 20-minute drive. Okay, I'm gonna just run to the restroom, no big deal.
Right.
I go in and there's like 3 stalls. It's a normal restroom. Don't worry, this will not get TMI. I walk in and I'm like, is someone on speakerphone?
Are they talking to me?
What's happening? A woman was having a speakerphone conversation in a public restroom.
And in the stall, not like out.
In the stall.
What was she, what was she talking about?
America, we can do better.
What was this conversation about?
I don't
It was
know.
so
She was
important.
complaining about something else, and her friend was then like, oh yeah, rah, rah, rah. And at first I was like, maybe she works in the building and she's like venting out
And hiding.
how she feels and how bad things are. No, she was just on speakerphone in a public restroom. And God bless America, please never do that, people. Promise us.
No speaker needed. This is what you do if you want to have a conversation in public.
Yeah, or just hang up before you go into the bathroom.
Yeah, good idea.
And with that, it's time now for the hot dish. Serve it up.
A big old heaping.
God, I was just like, this is a first. But then I was like,
So
we can
awkward.
talk about this.
Do you know
on the
I'm
show now. What is happening? Okay, Wendy and her new man are so hot and heavy right now. By the way, it's not Ted. He's
Speaking of
still single.
TMI.
Yeah. And she's not sparing us the details. Yesterday on her show, she talked about her first date with Mike, the lucky man. Take a look.
I really, really like Mike. Yeah. Yeah. That's us in the car. Like, I'm trying to contain, let's take a picture and whatnot. But we were close. I mean, we didn't have the sex, but you know what I'm saying? Based on the virus and everything, you don't get close to people. But I couldn't resist. And I'll tell you exactly who he reminds me of. Charlotte's Harry from Sex and the City. Yup. That's an old picture of him. I don't like that picture. But look at the other one when we're outside being paparazzi'd.
So Miss Wendy claims she didn't know the paparazzi was there. She says the two had a 2-hour-long dinner that night and that they actually had to be sort of escorted out because the maitre d' was like, we're closing. He stayed at a hotel, she says, and they had lunch the next day. And then he went back to DC. She says they will definitely be seeing each other again. So I watched this full bit. Like, I love Wendy. I really do. I think that she's totally crazy and fabulous in all the right ways. So she said that they had this really long dinner, and this actually happened on my first date, where the people at the restaurant were like flipping the chairs.
They're like taking your,
and they're like, you have to leave. And so she said that the next day she took him to Harlem, got him some soul food, and she's like, I am a smitten kitten. Like, she was like all about Mike. She likes him.
I like how she really dished too. She mentioned that they kissed many, many times.
Yeah, and that she wore a negligee. Ladies know what that is. Gentlemen, if you don't, she wore that to their dinner date. So she couldn't take her coat off. She said the whole dinner she had to have her coat on. And I was
what
like,
was she Never mind. I know what she was planning. Never mind.
Use your imagination, everyone. Wendy, we're happy for you.
Too soon.
We love you. Mike seems great. I liked him the most out of her final three. So.
Well, and he's like a gentleman. I mean, he sounds like the opposite of her really trashy ex.
Yeah.
Which she deserves better. And somebody who, again, who's totally different, opposite. Like, this could be really like a great thing for her. Good job, Wendy. And thanks for sharing the deets.
Yes, thank you.
Next in the dish, we are all still recovering. We really are from that bombshell Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan. More than 17 million Americans tuned in for that special. So to put that in perspective, that is more than double the audience of the Golden Globes in the same time slot last week. Now, last night's guest, or last night's host, I should say, recapped that big interview. Take a look.
And so I went to Human Resources.
Hold up. You're saying Buckingham Palace has HR? How long has that been around? Because you would think someone in Human Resources might have stepped in to tell Henry VIII that chopping off your wife's head could be interpreted as a hostile work environment.
Another big moment during the interview is when Harry was asked about his dad, and he casually mentioned this.
When we were in Canada, I had 3 conversations with my grandmother and 2 conversations with my father before he stopped taking my calls.
Even worse, he'd respond to texts with, "New mobile, whom is this?" New mobile, of whom is this?
Anyway, Oprah promised shocking revelations last night. Not only did she deliver them, no one was more shocked by what was shocking than Oprah was.
What? 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 Hold up. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Wow. Ooh. Oh.
She was really animated. That was Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel there. The special aired in Britain last night. But get this, the palace, no comment. But what can they, I mean, you can't go after her anymore after what she said. That would look really, really, really bad already in a very devastating situation for them.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about yesterday about we were so curious how the UK press was going to handle all this. There hasn't been a ton said, but I did look and see there's this group called the Society of Editors.
Okay.
And they released just a bit of a statement that, I'm paraphrasing here, said, it's ridiculous that you're calling us bigoted. We are not racist. It is our job to hold you all accountable. You neglected to mention how much we've actually been applauding you and all of your charity work that you do. You just bring up all these things. So they're very defensive. We're not apologizing for how they've covered her before in this specific group, the Society of Editors. So
I'm cringing for them.
Yeah, a little bit. So it's gonna be, I don't know. It's gonna be.
I think I saw a quote that was great. It said, whatever the royal family thought this was gonna be, this was way worse.
Right.
And I would say that for sure. Accurate.
I would agree. Yeah, next in the dish, there's another TV reboot possibly in the works. And if they decide to bring it back, we just hope the theme song comes along with it. You'll see what we mean. Mary Margaret Hume says the likelihood of Dawson's Creek reboot remains high. She played Dawson's mom, and she recently said she still texts the core members of the cast, including Katie Holmes, James Vanderbeek, and unclear if everyone, I should say, would return, including Michelle Williams and Joshua Jackson, because as executive producer Jeff told me, since I actually didn't watch Dawson's Creek, they might not be around anymore. I don't know if that's giving anything away.
Oh.
Right? Are they gone? Just the one. The one is.
I did not know that. So clearly, I was a One Tree Hill girl. I feel like they were kind of lived in the same universe.
You were one or the other?
I think it was on a channel we didn't get. It was something where you didn't have the easy access we have today to catch everything.
Right.
But ironically, I tried to watch this on Netflix. I saw it arrive like a month ago because I was like, I never watched that. I should see it. And it felt really corny. And I just don't think it works if you didn't watch it from the start.
Okay.
So it didn't work for me. But you didn't watch it, right?
No, I did not. Hey, and no studio,
You
by
were
the
like
way,
4.
has shown any interest in it. Yeah, no, I was
sad.
I was a little off of that one. Hey, guys, stick around because still ahead we have Katie Couric. She's got a big announcement as she made her Jeopardy debut.
But next, it's become one of the most popular TV shows on Apple TV+. We are chatting with the stars of Ted Lasso.
And then we are down to the final 3. And that means, you know what it means. It's time for Fantasy Suites. And our almost favorite producer, Ted, to give his recap of The Bachelor. Almost everybody loves him.
Okay, sure.
Jason Joe will be right back.
I thought America loved him.
That's 86%.
The word on the street.
What would you rather be, a lion or a panda?
I don't have time for this.
Okay. Ted?
Gotta go panda.
Are you mad? Pandas are fat and lazy and have fur. Lions are powerful and majestic and rule the jungle.
Try telling that to an elephant. Ooh, could I be an elephant?
Lion or panda?
Panda.
Lion! What's black and white and red all over?
I don't know what.
A panda that gets anywhere near a lion. The answer is lion.
It is one of the breakout shows of the past year. Ted Lasso follows an American college football coach hired to be the new manager of a British soccer team. The Apple TV Plus show won 3 Critics' Choice Awards Sunday night, including Best Comedy Series.
It stars, as you saw, Jason Sudeikis and our next 2 guests. Everyone, please welcome Hannah Waddingham and Juno Temple. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's the ladies' show today.
Love it.
First off, before we get started, Hannah, we just wanted to say congratulations on your Critics' Choice Award for Best Supporting Actress. Exciting.
God is so grown up. Every time I hear that, I just think, what is that? It's so grown up.
And you're going to hear it forever now. It's so cool.
I feel like that needs to be right behind you in the shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Just right there.
Yeah. I'm going to make my own banner.
There you go. Now, for anyone who has not seen the show yet, Hannah, you play the owner of a pro soccer team who hires Ted Lasso. But there's kind of a twist to it. What is the end game with this?
Yes, she hires him because she's seen him online and thinks this ineffectual idiot will come and basically burn to the ground the only thing that her ex-husband ever cared about, which is Richmond AFC. And she thinks, if I get him here, he'll destroy it, and that's the best way to get back at my asshole of an ex-husband. And that is her modus operandi, and she genuinely hasn't thought beyond that. And then, of course, Ted Lasso walks in and not only breathes his sunshine and love all over Rebecca, but all over everyone else around him.
Well, I love the idea of you're trying to just kind of make a bad thing happen, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this actually works out for everybody. Juno, you play the girlfriend of the top player, but you prove to be a lot smarter than people give you credit for. Tell us a little bit about Keely and what you like about the character.
Exactly that. Don't judge a book by its cover. Do you know what I mean? I think that was something that really turned me on about the part of you read the pilot and you first get introduced to Keely, and I knew that people were going to think she was one thing, and secretly I knew that there was going to be a lot more for her. I didn't know everything, but I did know that there was going to be this great journey. And what was such a joy about watching the show is that how each character, I think when you first meet them, they are one thing and you could be quick to judge them, and every single one of them proves to be something actually very different. And, I think the joy that happens with Keely discovering her brain and her brilliance is that Rebecca is a big part of that. Rebecca is a woman that kind of guides Keely into realizing that she's got a brain that could be really useful for this job that she's sort of pseudo doing anyway. And I loved that Rebecca was the one to kind of open her. They show each other sides of each other that they haven't necessarily noticed before, you know?
Yeah, there's so many endearing characters, which is something in a lot of shows I think that they're lacking these days. You have characters you don't really like, but you still kind of watch. Totally different story here. But this show, it's really popular even among people who maybe aren't into sports or don't follow it. Were you kind of surprised by that reaction?
I was most surprised by my dad's reaction, because he was just like, I can't stand football. I'm only watching it because you're in it. And then, oh my gosh, he's 80 years old and very English. And he was waxing lyrical and nearly in tears and has now watched it 3 times and knows it better than me.
Yes.
Yeah, again, I think that goes along with the fact that it's not a football show. Football's a huge part of it, but it's actually about the humans that are a team and that the team is falling apart and needs to be brought back together. So I think it's a show about, respecting people around you and listening to them and learning about them and understanding them and helping them be the best that they can be.
A show that is very loved. Thank you two so much for joining us. I wish we could chat with you longer. I feel like there's so much more to say, but we appreciate your time.
Yeah, next time.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Season 1 of Ted Lasso is streaming now on Apple TV+, and you can look for season 2 later this year. Something I just saw about this, one of the stars of the show, we talked about Jason Sudeikis too. He just thanked his ex-fiance for helping him kind of come up with this idea, which I thought was just a cool, hey, people can get along in 2021 and be grateful, and I think the premise of this whole thing sounds
Setting
awesome.
a good example. All right, next in the dish, it was a sequel 30 years in the making. Coming to America, dropped on Friday on Amazon Prime Video. Amazon doesn't release ratings, but insiders say there are other measurements that you can kind of track how successful it is. So according to Screen Engine, the movie scored the biggest opening weekend on a streaming service in the past year, better than Wonder Woman and Borat. That's right, yeah. The movie was also the most talked about film on Twitter this year. And according to the Apple service or Apple Store, since Friday, Prime Video has jumped to the #1 most downloaded app for entertainment.
Oh.
It is on my list, but I haven't got to it yet. I haven't tackled it yet. Have you watched?
I have not either, and it's on, so we have one TV that has everything it's a smart TV.
Right.
It's not an Apple TV, but it's a smart one.
Sure.
And then we have just the Fire Stick, and on both of those interfaces, it's the top thing that they're watch me, watch me, watch me.
Kind of can't help but click. Do you have to watch one to watch two?
That's the question.
You do? Okay, Jeff says yes.
Okay.
So I guess I have to back it back up.
No.
Start fresh.
We have some things to do. It's really interesting to me that none of these streaming giants really like to release that information right away. It seems so different than how it used to be, where box offices that weekend would be we're #1, we're great, come see us. And these guys are all kind of mum about that.
Mystery.
Yeah, it's a weird, I'd like to pick someone's brain about that who understands it more, I don't know, Jason Matheson or something.
Yeah, that guy.
We're on his show. Funny. Next in the dish, speaking of Mr. Matheson, Jason's ex-wife, Katie Couric, you know her, made her Jeopardy hosting debut last night. We checked it out, looks pretty good.
The guest host of Jeopardy, Katie
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. It is such a thrill to be here guest hosting a show I've watched and loved for years. And of course, a real honor to help out.
She takes over for Ken Jennings for the next 2 weeks. And she becomes the first woman to ever host the show. Now, there's 2 other ladies that are coming in, Savannah Guthrie and is it Bialik? I'm sorry, I don't know who she is. Bialik?
Yeah.
Bialik. I gotta look her up. She's obviously very intelligent. Ted says she's awesome. They will also guest host later this year. But she's gonna be great. I think at any kind of hosting gig she does, just because she's got so much experience. She's never gonna lose her cool.
Well, she said she was super this was really nerve-wracking, which makes sense. But she's so warm.
Right.
And it feels like a friend. So it just fits. And she's intelligent. So I think, yes, how has there not been a woman host before, by the way?
I don't know. That seems
it's hard to believe, right?
Weird. Speaking of Katie, she had some other news as well on Twitter. She announced she just finished writing her memoir.
Ooh.
She's been writing it for 3 years and says it was very emotional, the entire process of writing it and letting some things go. She actually, you can see it here, she gets a little choked up even just telling the Twitter world what is happening. And okay, watching the full video, I watched it till the very end, by the way. If you don't like choice words, you can just skip the very end because she says, I hope you really like it. And she inserts another word instead of really. But she kind of laughs and is like, I can only imagine. If you write a memoir, you write an autobiography, not only is she very famous and has some very public things happen in her life.
Yes, there's some stories I want to hear.
Yeah, but like to dish all that and not only write it down and release it, but then to release it to all of us for judgment. Would you ever write a memoir if somebody was like, Shane Wells, the story of your life?
I don't think my life is interesting enough to sell a memoir. I'm going to be honest. I'm very lucky that I've had a very good life.
A very level life.
And I hope that doesn't change. I feel like I'm jinxing it. Would you?
If I got to be that level, heck yeah.
So yeah, you are putting like a lot out there that you probably have never shared.
Right.
And then you're going to have to do a million gazillion interviews and rehash it over and over and over again.
Right.
So
that's the part I wouldn't think of, but I'd then be like, ooh, what? Yeah, I love reading though. I'm a bookworm. Yeah. I like writing. I think it's a part of who I am. So
Mama Kendall.
I think my mom would be like, okay, so this is the part that you did wrong here, and this is the literary reason that you shouldn't have written that. But I don't know, I can do it.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear those stories for sure. Next in the dish, the folks behind the Justice League franchise, they know how to build anticipation. Unfortunately though, the folks at HBO Max, they ruined everything. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, also known as the Director's Cut, debuts on the streaming service on the 18th. But for some reason, it played for users yesterday when they tried to watch Tom and Jerry, the new movie. They got the unreleased Justice League instead. So HBO Max quickly fixed the problem. They're not commenting. Snyder was the director behind Justice League until he stepped away in post-production, and then someone else took over and changed everything. So the movie went on to become a box office disaster. So fans were clamoring for Snyder's version. The director's cut is 4 hours long.
Does it involve potty breaks?
Nothing should be 4 hours long.
What? 4 hours?
I get bored when I hit a 2-hour mark in a movie. I'm like, ooh, this better be real good or I'm gonna start like taking a nap.
Who has 4 hours?
Okay, and like stretching.
Like I am. Like my back would hurt like sitting there for 4 hours.
Well, and it was a disaster the first time, so add 2 hours more and let's see how it goes.
I just like, okay, I also have to say, so I love these kind of movies. I genuinely do. And the people who are really into this are gonna send me some emails, but I had no idea this was even coming out. Like, have they really done a ton of press about this?
I didn't know either. But I also don't watch these kind of movies.
But I do, and I like this stuff. I love the Star Wars universe. I love Marvel. I love DC. And so it was interesting to me to be like, this leaked, and it was this big deal. And I'm like, what happened? Wait, what? There's a movie? I just feel like they've done so much promoting Wonder Woman 1984 and the new Batman, and then it's just like this just snuck on in there.
Maybe this stunt was semi on purpose because now we're all talking about it.
Shane Wells, you should be in PR.
Nah, no thanks. I'm good doing this. Still ahead, with the weather so dang nice out. I got out my clubs. I actually didn't get out my clubs. We went to a local driving range, kind of. I'll explain.
But she drove there, people.
Oh, there you go, I could drive.
But next, what happens in the fantasy suites stays in the fantasy suites, thank God. Producer Ted recaps the make or break episode of The Bachelor when we come back.
I can't wait to get his take. I watched.
This is the magical part of the season where the women profess their love to Matt, and then Matt says nothing, like this.
I really am so in love with you.
Okay, that was Bree. This was Michelle.
It feels right to say it, so I'm gonna say it. I love you, Matt.
And then it was Rachel's turn.
I'm like head over heels for you. I'm completely in love with you.
But the problem for Matt is, it seems he could see a life with all the women.
Waking up next to Michelle this morning, it's not hard to see a life with her. I can see a life with Bree after this. I'm just thinking about what life would look like with Rachel. And everyone who's here, I could see being my wife.
What?
The only recap you thought you might need with Jimmy Kimmel, as the ladies put it all on the line for Matt, or as my husband said, wow, so really that happens in like a couple hours? Wow, what a guy. We are down to the final 3 on The Bachelor, and that can only mean one thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for fantasy suites.
But the question is, will Bree, Michelle, and Rachel all forego their individual rooms to stay with Matt? I even messed it up. Man, I've heard that so many times.
Forgo your individual room,
Come on. And that means once again, it is time for America Loves Ted.
Do they? I'm kidding, Ted.
Look at him. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Of course they do. Producer Ted joins us now from Bachelor Nation headquarters, AKA the other room over there. Morning, Ted.
Good morning. Long time no see, Shane.
Yeah, exactly, actually. Just good to hear you in our ear once in a while here. All right, we both watched last night as well, so we can really get into this. First up, what was your takeaway from last night?
Well, you know, fantasy suites are always very exciting, right?
Are they?
Because it's like, how does ABC get around this whole elephant in the room of what we're doing? And they get a little more risque every year with how long they stay in the fantasy suite before the couple kicks them out. So if people don't know, fantasy suites are when the cameras leave the couple alone. It's the first time all season that they're alone and they get to talk without the cameras.
A lot of talking.
This is important, but I'm sorry, I got very distracted because there's a spider on my desk.
What?
Okay, yes, there's a spider right here, Shane. Okay, first up though, while I take care of this, tell us about his date with Michelle, our Minnesota girl.
Yeah, so Michelle, she's the local teacher, Edina, and they went on a Pennsylvania Dutch massage date.
A what?
Yeah, so sticks of butter, the oatmeal, all the things that you would do with on a Pennsylvania Dutch spa day. And when I was watching this, I was thinking about a clip, a TV show from the 90s. You know what, Leo, I think we have it. Just roll it.
How much longer are you going to be? I'm starving here.
Just a few more squirts, because I got to stay juicy.
That smell. It's still with you, huh?
Well, yeah, it's baked on in. Stick of butter in. Yeah, stir it up so it melts. That feels good. And now I'm simmering.
I'll meet you at the coffee shop.
That's what the date looked like.
With Newman and Kramer.
I was just waiting for Newman to show up and try to eat them.
That would have been so good. That was all that was missing. That was a really odd, I have to be honest, I thought all the dates were super lame. But let's go to the next one. So no butter, right?
No butter.
Phew.
So he goes on an outdoorsy kind of date with Bree where they basically camp and they put a tent up. And she, again, is like, yeah, I'm not really an outdoorsy type person. To which then my thought process is, this isn't good. If you're not an outdoorsy type person and this is the date he chose for you, he's probably not thinking about you that well. So, so he tried to tell her this was the fantasy suite, but it wasn't. They gave him a hotel room.
I like her. We're not really sleeping here, right?
Yeah.
Like, please.
Yeah, it was very clear to anyone watching that they hadn't walked very far and that they probably wouldn't be staying there with the two of them trying to coordinate things.
They have covered every square inch of this resort.
Every inch.
They have nothing left.
Yeah.
Okay, third date, Rachel. I was a little surprised by how hard of a time she was having that entire episode.
She was having a hard time. She didn't like being number 3.
Well, that makes sense.
and they did this again where they have all 3 stay together for fantasy suites, and so they have to sit there when the girl comes home in the morning, and they're like, "How was the date?" Well, Rachel had been sitting there for 2 previous dates. She's obviously not doing well, so of course they take her to a ceramics class, and she struggles. She is not thinking straight, and so he's like, I can sense something's off with her. And she's like, we need to talk. And then they obviously make up. And the pot did not turn out well after they did this part of the date. But yeah, he carried her away, and I think he just carried her right into the fantasy suite.
I honestly was so turned off by her pity party. Like, you know what happens, and you've just got to suck it up. If you're going to go through with this, you just got to go. Yeah, anyway, and it worked for her. She made that work for her.
And the ladies were really funny how they were like, oh, it's okay, Rachel. You'll just love the conversations that you're able to have.
Wink, wink. Okay, so we saw those, and we kind of guessed from what you said earlier who goes home.
Bree. So sad. I liked Bree.
Yeah, wasn't she like the top of your leaderboard?
Yeah, she was. I think from night one she was #1 on my leaderboard. I had to move her down because I saw the writing on the wall with Rachel, so I moved Rachel up. But yeah, Bree sad.
So you think Rachel is going to win it all?
She's the winner.
I don't want Rachel to win. Obviously, she's very drama surrounding her outside of the show. But yeah, the writing has been on the wall for a long time. It's going to be Rachel. Michelle, again, hey, local, you want to come on the show, we'll have you.
Yeah.
We love her. Ted, congratulations on covering that. That was a lot to handle. We really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us.
I got to go get some sticks of butter.
Oh my God,
the visual.
The visual. Let's get out of here.
Thanks, Ted.
Stop. Still ahead, Shane heads to the local driving range. It's opening back up after 2 years, and some very eager golfers were swinging away. One of them pretty good, pretty young. We'll be right back.
He's my favorite.
Where's that title though?
But it was so great to see you hosting the Golden Globes. You were fantastic. You were so funny. You look great. But I know from hosting these award shows, it is a lot of work. I can't imagine what it was like hosting one during a pandemic.
Yeah, you know what it's like. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it was interesting because I had like new stress streams. Usually your dreams are that you're going to, say the wrong thing or you're going to, fall, but I was having these like technological stress streams that, was just going to disappear, just like bloop.
Like bad edit, like the audio going out or something, or people cutting to the wrong camera?
All those, like, basically like a living Zoom nightmare is what I was having. But
Amy Poehler living that Zoom nightmare on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night. We've all had that, where you have like, something stressful or big is happening at work or in your personal life, and you dream about it, and you're like, wake up in sweats.
Every Zoom interview makes me feel nervous. So
it is. Like, is this recording? Is this thing on? Welcome back. It's a great spot to take the family in the Southwest Metro.
Golf Zone reopened today in Chaska after closing nearly 2 years ago. I should clarify, it is on the Chaska-Chanhassen border, just so you know. This morning, I got a chance to meet the new owners and the golfers who could not wait to get started swinging. No pressure, right? Just the whole world watching. That's Brian Colvin, the new owner of Golf Zone, technically in Chanhassen with a Chaska address, but also really close to Eden Prairie and Shakopee, just right over the river there. So we're right along the Minnesota River Valley, beautiful setting, and at a place that has sat dormant now for a few years. It got spruced up thanks to Brian and his wife. Tell us, Brian, about your choice to get this place back open, because you were a very loyal customer for a long time.
I was out here for about 10 years. And it closed down without any answers, and I know there was a lot of people, including myself, that was looking for that answer, and I reached out to the right person, and we developed a relationship. We ended up purchasing it in December and opening it today, so we're really excited.
Perfect timing to open
it's
with the weather we have right now.
Yes.
No snow on the...
No snow, 66 degrees. You can't ask for a better day.
Okay, give us the scoop, because I'm a casual, non-serious golfer.
Yeah.
Hitting at a driving range like this, what are the benefits?
Well, in the wintertime, there's tons of them. Staying loose, keeping your muscles warmed up, keeping your game in check. There's a lot of places in the Midwest where you're sitting on the couch watching the Golf Channel for 4 to 5 months, not able to swing a golf club.
Just dreaming.
So we allow people to come out here and keep their game in check for those months of the wintertime.
A lot of bays here.
32 of them.
32 bays. They're heated too, which is fantastic.
Yep, you can wear a t-shirt in the middle of January.
Oh, see, that's a good feeling. You don't even have to wait for
every bay has a TV, so you can watch the Golf Channel as you hit balls.
Okay, and then on the inside.
Yep.
You got putt-putt golf.
Yep, we have an 18-hole miniature putt course, and then we have a nice, beautiful log bar that you can sit down and have a refreshment after hitting balls out here or playing putt-putt inside with the family.
How are you feeling today?
Excited.
I mean, this is a big build-up.
Super excited, nervous, just ready to go. We've been working on this for 2 months, and I'm ready to have the doors open.
You've been working on it for 2 months, but dreaming about this for years.
Dreaming about it for years, that's for sure.
Well, we're happy to be here. Again, Golf Zone reopened now. They are open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. It is first come, first serve. So if you're coming on the weekends and it's a beautiful day, maybe expect to have a little bit of a wait to get in here. Again, golfzonemn.com if you want to check it out ahead of time online.
I think that place looks really cool.
It was a beautiful, beautiful morning out there. I'm like, yes, I could stay here. They had food and beverage too, pizzas and drinks. And,
okay.
What else? Oh yeah, you asked where it was.
Yeah, yes.
So by like Lion's Tap. So I mean, it's like by 101 and 41 and right at the Minnesota River.
Okay.
It's really like right in the border of like 5 cities.
Okay.
It's a good location.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I mean, if you just want to get out there and swing, that's such a nice way to do it.
Exactly. All right, still ahead, Kendall is going to introduce us to a local jeweler who is putting a Scandinavian touch on her pieces. We'll be right back. I'm looking forward to this.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day.
Song, you know what's going on. It's the Jason Show. And we welcome you back. And if you're a fan of beautiful jewelry, and who isn't, a Minnesota woman is creating a one-of-a-kind pieces in her home studio.
She takes inspiration from Scandinavian design to create each piece by hand. She does it. I got a chance to meet the woman behind Dottir Jewelry and see her at work. The overall look of all of your pieces, I love them. You've been doing this for a while, but full-time, not quite as long.
So I started doing this as a side business in 2012. It was just sort of a hobby, and then people showed interest, so I started selling at a couple shops, and it kind of grew from there to a point where I had to decide, do I jump in or put it aside? I decided to go all in 2017, and it's been my full-time job since then.
I'm not gonna lie, it probably hasn't been the easiest during a pandemic, because
Oh
you
my
sell mostly
goodness.
online though, or like, tell
Well,
me how that has all been
yeah.
working.
About 70% of my income was from shows. Every show was canceled, still
Like
canceled
vintage
through the spring.
markets and like art galleries.
Exactly,
Okay.
yep, art fairs, pop-ups, all that sort of thing. And then I sell wholesale and consignment in various shops, and then I was doing like 5% online. So switching that 5% into pretty much 100% this past year is
95%.
interesting challenge, but you know, I'm up for it, and flexibility is part of being a small business owner.
These are gorgeous. And you said the new, more textured pieces are some of your newer work.
My background is actually in illustration and 2D art. All of my designs start as a drawing. I'm inspired by nature, by geometric shapes, by paper cutting, by Scandinavian illustration. So everything starts as a drawing, and then I'll start to play with the metal and see if it can support that shape.
I'm super curious how this gets done.
Yeah.
Let's go see
Let's
how you
check
make
it out.
the magic.
Sounds good.
This is the most like fantastically feminine setup. But seriously, it's like a wood shop, but with pretty things and miniature tools.
This is where most of the magic comes from. This is my jeweler's saw. It has the tiniest saw blade. It's so small that I usually have to use my thumb to even know which way the teeth are pointing. But when I'm working with a thin gauge of metal, which I do for most of my earrings so that they're very lightweight and comfortable, you need that really fine blade to get it to work.
You've got a design in your mind.
Yeah.
Say you've sketched it out at this point. How does the rest of this work?
This is my pattern folder. I'll cut one out of metal, make sure that it works as a piece, and then I will trace that piece in replicate and make a paper pattern. One of my oldest designs, one of my absolute all-time favorites. This is kind of my go-to pair, so I figured I could show you how I cut them out. In order to do that, the saw blade actually has to be threaded up through a little pilot hole that you drill. I'll make a little punch, and then I will use my rotary tool to just drill a little hole, and then I pull out the top there. This is where it gets really finicky. You thread that saw blade through that hole, There we go. So now you can see it's captured on that saw blade.
Yep.
I can go ahead, cut out that interior shape, and then remove the piece.
You want to know what, TV friends? There's also a magical version on our Instagram page that shows it all sped up. If you're like me and are super curious, it's like one of those fun TikTok videos where you just go really fast. Is this how jewelry was made before we mass made everything? Like, it was this intricate of a process?
Part of what I like is educating people how long it does take to make a piece. I think that makes it special that it's handcrafted. I love that I hand cut my work. I think it adds a lot to it. I have touched every piece that goes out the door, and I think that's really wonderful. Well, like I said before, I make things that I want to wear. And so that's really the heart of it. I make things that I think are beautiful, that I'm really excited about, and I think that translates to people. I think they can feel that and see that in the work, and they're drawn to it. When I can let them know how much went into it too, I think that just really makes it that much more special and deepens that connection.
That is so impressive.
Isn't that cool?
I want all of those.
All out of her house. So you might have noticed the really large pair she was wearing.
Yeah.
Up close, they're very detailed and intricate. And I said, okay, how long, for example, does it take you to make that pair? And she said, not including the shipping or the drawing design of it, about 6 hours. It's like, so it makes you really appreciate how much work goes into, people are always like, oh, it's expensive, but
you're paying for hand art.
And if you lose an earring, ladies, if you lose an earring, she makes individual earrings too. So you can get a replaced. I think it's pretty cool.
Genius.
To learn more about Megan's jewelry, head to dottirshop.com, D-O-T-T-I-R, or follow her on Instagram, Dottir_jewelry. You can see some of those sped up videos there.
Following her right now. We'll be right back after this quick break. I really am. Welcome back to the Jason Show. I almost had that jewelry shop followed, Dottir, by the commercial, but I was just like a second too late. It's that easy. In fact, it's easy to find us too, right?
Yeah, very
easy. You can check us out on the Jason Show Facebook page, YouTube page. We post each day's show, by the way, on YouTube, along with interview clips and other videos. In fact, you can rewatch that one we just showed if you want. You can search for Jason Show TV on YouTube.
It's a good one. Subscribe, like, follow
all
us.
The things.
We'll be right back.
So Jason in the prompter. But we'll say welcome back. Kendall joins me. We've been having fun hanging out. We're going to be here all this week, filling in while he gets some R&R.
And don't worry, you guys. Bubblegum Goodbye is back. Shane.
I got it. So the question is, what was your childhood nickname?
Okay, you teased yours, so I feel like you need to go first.
It is so weird. If my dad's watching, he's going to think this is great. So I don't know how this happened. I think it was some of my relatives would call me Shaney, and then it became Shaney Bainey, because my maiden name is Bredesen.
Okay.
And then it became Bainzo. And then that's what it was.
Bainzo?
To this day. And it is like a hideous name. It's not cute. Like, who calls a little girl like Bainzo?
Bainzo.
So still to this day, I had no nicknames from friends because I think my name was short and like one syllable, so it was like Shane. Like that was what people called me. Except my dad and a few aunts, Bainzo.
Bainzo to this day.
Please don't call me that.
Thanks, Dad.
Please. I know. Why am I sharing this? Okay, how about you? Let's erase it.
Bill's already tweeting something to you right now.
I know, right?
I had multiple nicknames. One is from my parents. I was Kendall Bundle because I had really big cheeks. So I was just like a bundle, little bundle. So my dad will call me Bundle to this day.
That's actually really close to Bainzo. Bainzo and Bundle?
Yeah.
The Bainzo and Bundle show?
Stop. Don't give anybody any firing power here. No.
It's just so ironic.
Bainzo and Bundle? Good Lord. Okay, my other ones, Chickadee, Chick. So my dad's nickname is Bird. And so all three of his daughters have a nickname that's like, I'm Chickadee, my sister's Kiwi, Tweety. So I'm Chick.
Those are so
Which is,
cute.
now that I'm an adult, sometimes comes off funny when like his grown friends are like, hey, Chick.
You're like,
It's my nickname. And then Ken, Kenny Pooh, Kens, K, KK, I have a lot of nicknames.
How many
now.
nicknames you have?
People just call me everything.
I just got Bainzo, and you got Chickadee and Kenny.
I know.
Bundles.
I have a lot of really weird nicknames. For a while, it was Pickle. That was a weird dance thing that happened.
Oh,
for
I was like, do
2
you
minutes.
like pickles?
No, it was like, yeah, I love pickles. It was like a weird, like 2 seconds of my life thing.
What's a pickle dance?
No, I mean like that was just my nickname. We all had food nicknames. That was Pickle.
Okay.
I don't
It was
know.
an actual dance.
Hey, you guys, tomorrow on the show, we know someone with food. Stephanie Hansen. She's back and she's making soda bread. Have you made soda bread?
I know what she's going to be talking about, and it is so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Soda
I got
bread.
to talk to them yesterday about it.
I wonder what Steph Hansen's nickname is.
Okay, we're going to ask her.
Okay.
That's a good one, actually. I bet it's entertaining.
The Bainzo and Bundles show.
Oh, no.
We'll be back tomorrow. Please watch us, even with that gloriously hideous. Beautiful. Bye, everybody.